when the pain starts getting really crazy to the point where if you have a wig on your head, you want to take that ish off and throw it away. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. I am Sia. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, comment, check out our previous videos. That will be so much appreciated. But in today's video, I wanted to do a video just talking about what tips I have for unmedicated birth. So if you're someone who is pregnant or you're planning to get pregnant someday and you really want to try having your baby natural without epidural, any pain meds, then this video is for you. If you just want to enjoy the video and you're not planning on doing everything I'm gonna say, but you're still here and you're still gonna watch the video, thank you for doing that. I do have my iPad here. As always, I wrote down some things because I don't want to waste your time and just start saying things that make no sense. So I have things down that I wrote from my experience. I have 2 boys now, and both my kids were born natural, no epidural, just me in pain, okay? So let's get in the video. I have 2 sections. I have before you actually get pregnant, right? Things that you should do before you actually get pregnant. Or let's say, you know, you're in your first trimester and that's something you want for yourself. How to start preparing yourself and other people for your birth, right? And also, of course, when you're in early labor, and also when you're in active labor, right? So the first point I have is surround yourself with positivity and don't tell everybody your plan. That really goes a long way, because when it comes to having a baby, everyone has their own way of thinking, right? You might have someone who had a baby and they had, you know, their baby with an epidural, and you tell them, oh, I don't want to take the epidural, you know, I want to go natural. I just want to see how I do. 9 times out of 10, most people will tell you, oh my gosh, it's so painful, you're not going to be able to do it, instead of encouraging you and telling you, that's amazing, I'm happy you want to do that for yourself. You know, I'm saying I as in like the people, right? They can say like, okay, I took the epidural, but if you can do it, that would be such a great thing for you. Instead, they try to like make you feel bad for your decision or whatever you want to do. So for me, I never told everybody my birth plan. I told a few of my friends, but of course they're very like supportive and very positive, and these are people that, you know, they have kids too, but they did take the epidural, right? But at the same time, they don't like come at me and say, oh my gosh, da, 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 like you cannot do it, this and that, you know? So keep it to yourself and choose the people that you end up telling. Okay, my second point is know the reason why you want one in the first place, because when you know the reason why, it makes it more realistic, if that makes sense. It makes it more, when the time comes, you actually really want to do it, right? So my reasoning, for example, was friends, family, people that I know that had the epidural, they always tell me they have severe back pain. And number 2, for me, I'm scared of needles. Me and needles, we don't see eye to eye. Even when I go to the hospital when I'm having the baby and they have to put the IV to keep me hydrated and all that, it's just too painful for me, and I hate needles. I hate needles. So those were my 2 reasons as to why, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna go natural and just have my babies and just be done with it. So find your reasoning, because that's gonna help you, like I said, accomplish what you want to accomplish. Number 3 is you got to prepare yourself mentally. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. I know it's easier said than done, and probably sounds crazy to someone, like you're in pain and you're talking about, oh, it's all in the mind. Pain is really all in the mind. Coming from someone who, I used to cry when I had my period pains, like cry. I used to bawl my eyes out. I had really bad period cramps, really bad, to the point where I will vomit. It literally looked like I was pregnant. That's how bad my period cramps were. So when I got pregnant, even my husband, he was, with my first baby, of course, he was a little bit skeptical because of how bad my cramps were and how he used to see me crying and just in so much pain. So when I told him I want to have my baby without epidural, he was like, you know, you can do it, babe, but you gotta really get into the mindset of it, because, you know, even period cramps you can't really handle. So when I handled labor pain, that was a surprise to us both. I'm not even gonna lie. So it's all in the mind. Prepare yourself mentally. Just go into it with positivity, like I said in the start. Also, prepare yourself to tear, because 9 times out of 10 most women end up tearing. So make sure you're ready for that too. And also, if you don't end up taking the epidural when you tear, from my experience, this is not everyone's experience, of course, most women, probably the numbing medication will work for them, but both times when they wanted to stitch me up, the numbing medication did not work for me. It did not work. With 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐈, my first son, it worked a little bit, but with this one, my second child, I tore internally and out and externally, right? So when they were stitching me inside, whew, yeah, it did not work. Externally, it was painful, but I didn't really feel it that much. But when they stitched me inside, it was freaking painful. So just have that in mind also, that, you know, just in case I tear, blah, 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 this might happen. I might be in a little bit of pain, but afterwards, honestly, you're fine. They give you pain meds, and as long as you keep taking your pain meds, like I had to take mine every 6 hours, as long as you keep taking it, you're fine. You don't feel much pain, if that makes sense. Have a support person. That can be your husband, that can be a friend, that can be family, that can be your boyfriend, that can be anyone you want it to be. So, and also try and have less people in the room. If you're having a home birth, right, most people who go natural, they usually do it at home. So I think if you have the money, or if your insurance covers it, that's another way you can go, because then if you're not at the hospital and you don't have the means to get an epidural, you don't have a choice. You just gotta have the baby, right? So that's another thing you guys can look into. I actually did look into it for the second baby, but my hospital, my insurance, they don't cover that. They don't have that. So I had to do it at the hospital. But yeah, your support person is very, very important. So make sure you have the right person. I will also say, I think you can also have a doula if you're having a home birth. I'm not really sure when it comes to home birth, really. But you can do your research if that's something you want for yourself. You can do your research. You can ask around people that had that before and see what are your options. But your support person, like I said, it goes a long way. So choose the right person. Also, make sure your provider, healthcare, midwife, whoever it is that you have, is also into you having a natural birth. Because if you have a doctor or whoever it is, or nurse, who is, when you tell them your plan, they try to say things that will kind of like make you worry or make you feel so scared, that's not a good thing. Because let's be real, we all tend to listen to these people because they're professionals, even though sometimes they can be wrong, right? And it's your body. It's, you know, yes, they did go to school for that. Yes, they have the degrees, but at the end of the day, I've seen and heard a lot of these professionals that are so wrong when it comes to a lot of things, right? So with my first son, I lost a lot of blood when I had him. So when I went to the hospital, when I used to go to the hospital for my appointments, my doctor, the only thing she was concerned about was that, you know, she asked me, are you comfortable with like a blood transfusion if we have to get to that place? And I was like, yeah, sure, you know, there are risks when it comes to that. But she was down. She was all for my natural. She was like, you can do it. You've done it once. That felt really good to have someone who takes care of me and the baby inside of me, and they believe and they're like hyping me up, you know, like, yes, you can do it. If that's what you want to do, you sure can. You don't have a lot of people like that, even professionals, honestly. So choose the right people when it comes to that. If you have to change your doctor, change them and find someone who is going to encourage you instead of discouraging you from doing what you want to do, right? So it goes a long way. Another thing is educate your partner or educate your family, whoever's gonna be there with you when you're having the baby, make sure you educate them and make sure they know, God forbid, if anything happens to you, they are going to be your advocate, right? And also, when you're having a natural birth, 9 times out of 10, you're not able to communicate. So make sure they know stuff. Make sure they know everything you want so they can advocate for you or they can speak for you. When we were at the hospital and I'm in so much pain and the nurses are asking me stuff probably about, like, what's the baby's name gonna be, because they have to put that down, to get things ready. But I'm in labor, I'm in pain. So they end up asking Tommy, and he knows all the answers, right? Yes, he's my husband, so obviously he knows, but most people who are married or in a relationship, they don't even know a lot of things about their partner. So make sure you tell the person everything they need to know. If it's a family member, make sure they know everything they need to know. If you're gonna have a friend, make sure they know everything they need to know, because you don't want to be in a situation where, apart from even you being in pain, let's say, again, God forbid, anything happens, right? And you're not able to speak, they can speak for you. So keep that in mind and just, let that be one of the things that is just up there. Another thing that I will say is learn natural pain management. Meaning, some people are into essential oils. I love essential oils, but I did not remember to pack. Well, I could have packed it in my hospital bag, but honestly I sat down and I'm like, when I get to the hospital, am I going to be able to set up a this and that? But if you're having a home birth, I think that is something that you can actually do for yourself. You can set up the aroma in the house, put your oils. It really helps you breathing in the oils, it calms you down. So that's number one. You can get yourself a humidifier and put some oils in there and just set up the room, set up the mood, Also, breathing. Your breathing, you should try and practice. I'm not sure if they have breathing classes or anything. That's not something I looked up, but you can do your research, you can look that up. Practice your breathing, because when you are in labor, one thing that you should know how to do, especially if you want to have a natural birth, is breathe. And don't scream. Easier said than done, I know. Try not to scream. Let me say it this way. Try not to scream. Instead, try and breathe. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but try not to scream. Just try and breathe. You have to know how. It's a different type of breathing than, regular stuff. So try that. Music, that's another way to cope. Some people love music, it helps. If you're that person who you feel like music is gonna help you, then just let your partner know. So again, let your support person know all these things so they know what to do. For example, if I wanted to have essential oils in the room in the hospital, I would have told Tommy. When we got there, he would have set it up and all that good stuff. For me, another technique that Tommy did that worked was when I was in active labor in the hospital, because I usually do my early labor at home and then I go to the hospital. But we're gonna get into that. One thing that worked is he took a washcloth and wet the washcloth with cold water and put it on top of my head. That calmed me down so well. I really wish we were able to set up a camera and just record the whole thing, so you guys can see what he did and how the process really went when I was actually in the labor room having the baby, or before I had him. But that really helped when he kept doing that. He will put the washcloth on top of my head, and when it gets a little bit hot, he will go back to the bathroom, wet the washcloth with very cold water. I never knew I would really like cold water that much until that day, okay? So make sure the person that you have is educated and knows the things that you like, right? And this is not even something that we talked about, honestly. I don't even know where it came from, but he just started doing it and it felt good. It felt good for me. So choose the right person when it comes to who you want to have in the room. Honestly, if you have a boyfriend who's not supportive and they don't even know what to do, you don't need to have them in the room. Choose somebody else because it really goes a long way. Something else that can help you is a massage, especially on your back. When you're in labor, you feel the pain on your back and your lower belly. So when I was at home during the early labor and in our bedroom, from the previous videos you guys can see, when the contractions come and I have this really bad back pain, Tommy will like not even rub my back lightly, he will press on my back, and that pressure really, it kind of took away the pain a little bit. So make sure you have someone who, you know, can give you a massage. It's kind of like a massage, honestly. Just press on your back. It really helped me, and hopefully it can help somebody else out there. Another pain technique pain management technique I can tell you guys about is take a warm shower when you feel like you're in labor, right? This is something also my nurse told me. She said, when you feel like you're having contractions, take a warm shower. If they keep going, if you're still having contractions after your shower, you're definitely in labor. So that's something I did. I took a shower before we left the house. Me and Tommy both, actually. I took a shower and I was in so much pain in that shower. Like, it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, babe, this is definitely contractions. Like, if I did not believe it was, then it is. I had contractions for 2 weeks. Well, cramps for 2 weeks. It will like start and then it will stop right away. So when it started on that Saturday, I was like, I was in pain and it really did feel like contractions, but I was like, you know, let me do what the lady said. I took a shower, it still kept going. So take a warm shower. Take a very nice and warm shower. That's actually going to help you feel fresh. And when you get to the hospital, obviously, to have your baby, you're not going to be able to take a shower. Even right after you have the baby, they will just clean you up. But I still felt fresh even after having a baby and sweating up a storm. But I still felt fresh, you know? I didn't feel like musty, and I hate feeling musty. Like, I will literally get up and take a shower right away. So that's gonna help you relieve yourself from a lot of stress. So take a warm shower when you start feeling contractions. Honestly, trust me, it's gonna help you feel better. Another pain management technique is using a ball. A yoga ball. Squat on the ball. If you saw the previous video that we posted, you saw me using the ball. I bounced on that ball. It looks weird, it looks awkward, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it. It helps a lot, so use it. But also exercises, walking. They have prenatal exercise classes. You can go and do that. Okay, so on to when you're having labor pains now. Make sure you spend your early labor at home. This is when you go from, like, I want to say this is between 1 centimeters to like 4 or 5 centimeters. That's like early labor, right? And the second part is, I think, from 5 to 6 or 7. And then the last part is from 8 centimeters dilated to like 10. That's where you go crazy. So spend the early part at home. Of course, you're not going to be able to check yourself to see how dilated you are, or you're not going to have someone, if you're not having a home birth, you're not going to have someone who's going to be able to check you before you head to the hospital, right? So the way I can put it is, stay home when you start having the cramps. I put it in quotation because it's not really period cramps, but it feels like period cramps when it starts. So stay home when you start having that. And I will say, when you start having those cramps, eat something and take a shower. But make sure you eat something, because when the cramps get really crazy, you're not gonna think about food. That's the last thing on your mind. You don't even want to see anything like that, right? So eat something and use a contraction timer on your phone. I might probably put the one that I use somewhere on the screen, but use one. So whenever your contractions start, press, you know, the button that will tell you, or press when it starts. You guys get what I'm saying. And then time it. The app that I use, it actually told me twice that I think you should start heading to the hospital. So I did it one time, it told me, and I was like, let me do it again. And remember, I wasn't so much pain, but I still did not want to head to the hospital. And maybe I was like 4 or 5 centimeters, and sometimes they send you back home if you're not dilated too much. And now with COVID, I'm guessing they don't really want to probably keep people at the hospital for too long, so they might have sent me home. They do that to a lot of women, so I never wanted that to happen to me. So even though I'm in so much pain, I try and stay home and labor at home. So again, when the pain starts getting really crazy to the point where if you have a wig on your head, you want to take that ish off and throw it away, you're I don't know, you're just so confused at this point. But yeah, like, what am I gonna do? I'm in so much pain. So spend early labor at home so you don't get to the hospital and you're tempted to take the epidural. That's another tip that I would give you. Stay home, time your contractions when it gets to the point where, like I said, you want to take your wig off and just, you want to strangle somebody who's next to you, then you know it's time for you to go to the hospital. Before you leave, obviously, you want to call the hospital because you want them to get your bed ready, get everything ready for you before you leave. Something that I don't want to forget to mention is stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Make sure you have water by your side. When the contractions go away, drink some water and just stay hydrated. That's gonna help you. Even when you get to the hospital, they give you like sips of water here and there. So that's probably gonna be on your support person, because Tommy is the one who will like give me, you know, when the contractions give me a little bit of break, he will give me some water to drink. So stay hydrated. Make sure you're relaxed. Make sure you are relaxed. This is easier said than done, but make sure you are relaxed. If you haven't watched my previous video, my labor and delivery vlog, go watch it, because that will give you a sense of what I'm talking about. Stay relaxed, right? I was at home in our bedroom sitting on the yoga ball, and contractions were coming, like very, very severe contractions. But I don't think you can tell that it was that crazy because of how composed I was. Not every woman can stay composed. Some women just, you know, they screaming through the pain, I guess, helps them, and that's fine if that's you. But just try not to tense yourself when you're having contractions. Don't clutch yourself, because that is going to keep the baby inside you way longer than you want it. You want to have the baby inside of you. If you want your labor to progress, try and relax yourself. Scream through the pain, whatever you want to do through that pain. Just don't tense yourself, because tensing yourself, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you through that journey at all. So try and stay relaxed. Also, y'all are gonna look at me crazy, but you have to accept the pain. You have to accept the pain, because there's nothing you can really do about that pain, but you have to accept the pain. The last tip before you head to the hospital, or again, before you get pregnant, or when you're pregnant from your first trimester to when you need to have the baby, is have self-confidence, and tell yourself every day that you can do it. Remind yourself every single day that you can do it. If you're someone who's going around telling people like, oh, I'm gonna have a natural birth, again, most people are gonna discourage you. Most people are gonna tell you, you can't do it, the pain is too much, blah blah blah. But your body is meant for that. Just like how women are like the only people who can get pregnant, right? Men cannot get pregnant. Men don't know how it feels like. So your body is literally meant to do that. If that is something that you want for yourself, keep it to yourself. Tell people who are positive. Tell people who support you in what you want to do. If you end up not doing that, if you end up taking the epidural because of whatever reason, that's fine. That's still your story. Because I know someone who wanted to have a natural birth. They ended up taking the epidural, and you have people who will tell them like, oh, I told you the pain is too much, like you can't do it, da 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 da, you know? So again, keep it to yourself. Tell people who support you. That goes a long way. Have self-confidence in what you want to do for yourself. Remind yourself every single day. Do it like affirmation to yourself. Like every day when you wake up, I can do this. I can do this. My body is meant for this. I can have this baby naturally. I can push this baby out. I can do this. I'm strong. Affirmation to yourself every single day until you have the baby. Trust me, it goes a long way. Now, onto the crazy part, which is active labor. Active labor, I think the second part is called transitional labor or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I think that's what it's called. That's between 4 to like 6, 7 centimeters, and then active labor is like 8 to 10. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. So this is the stage where you really do want to strangle somebody. That's a fact, and that's just real. You really do want to strangle whoever it is that you have in the room with you. So this is the stage where, again, your breathing technique that you practiced or that you did research on, or whatever thing that you researched, this is where you're gonna really have to apply it, because you don't want to tense yourself when you're in this stage, from like the transitional stage to active labor. You don't want to tense yourself. You want to be relaxed through that crazy pain as much as you can, because that is going to bring the baby down. Also, gravity. Most hospitals make you lay down on your back. When I had 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎𝐒, I was on my back to a point where he was slowing down to come out, because with him, his head was down, but the face is supposed to be down, but his face was up. So I guess he couldn't see the pathway to come out. That slowed him down. And then plus I was on my back. So when they did switch positions with me, I was on all fours. I think I used, I used the peanut ball. It's called a peanut ball. I'll probably put a picture somewhere on the screen so you guys can see what that is. You put that in between my leg and switched me to my side. That really helped a lot. With my second boy, they did the same thing, right? They gave me the peanut ball. I went to my side, and it just got crazy from there. Like literally, it was time for me to push in like 0.2 seconds. So when I got to the hospital, I was 7 centimeters dilated. So literally almost late for me to get the epidural. But they did ask me, because I think 7 is not too bad. They can still give it to you and it can probably work. So they asked me, like, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 times if I want the epidural. And the first time they asked me, when you're in that much pain, you're so tempted to say yes. But remind yourself, affirmation to yourself, remind yourself, you can do this. Your body is meant to do this. You got this. I was so tempted. I was this close, even though I did it before. I was this close to saying yes this time. But I just reminded myself, I talked to myself in my head. I was like, you can do this. You're meant to do this. Your body is meant for this. So I said no. And when I went into the room, this time around, I wasn't laying flat on my back like I was with 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎𝐒. I was a little bit upright. So that, I'm pretty sure, helped. So make sure you tell your provider, like when you're pregnant and you're going on your appointments, let them know how you want to have the baby. Most women will say, I want to have my baby on all fours. All fours is basically, you guys already know what all fours is, but you're on your hand and your knee on the bed, and then you push the baby that way. Another way you can do it is squatting down. So you can literally, you can be on the bed. The beds they have in hospitals for giving birth, they can switch them up to whatever position you want to be in. So you can be on the bed, but they will put you all the way up, and then you can have the baby that way, because gravity it does help the baby come down faster. When you're in labor and you go to the hospital, you're not going to be able to tell them all this, right? Because it's just so much going on. They're trying to get your information, they're trying to give you the IV, you are in so much pain. So make sure this is something you discuss with your doctor before you even have to get to that stage to head to the hospital. So when you get to the hospital, they already know what you want. They already have your birth plan with them. So yes, from 8 to 10 is when you really start feeling like you want to give up. I don't want to do this. I cannot do this. You're gonna have all these negative things come into your mind. Again, remind yourself, you can absolutely do it. You're meant for this. You can do it. Keep reminding yourself. Another thing is, when it's time for you to push, picture your baby coming out. Just close your eyes. I do that when I'm pushing. Close your eyes and just push through the pain and just picture your baby coming out. This wonderful human being that has grown inside of you for 9-10 months, right? You're finally gonna meet this baby. You're finally gonna love on this baby. Just keep picturing positive things in your mind. It's crazy. It is crazy that you're in so much pain and then I'm telling you to picture something, you know, picture the baby, right? It's crazy, but it works. It worked for me. I feel like, honestly, like, it doesn't take the pain away, but it makes the pain worth it, right? It makes the pain worth it. I'm like, I'm gonna have my son. I'm gonna have my son. He's gonna be here soon. And also, since I already have a child, my first born, another thing that I kept thinking about, and I even said this to myself throughout my pregnancy to Tommy, I said, I feel like when I'm going to be in labor, one person that I'm gonna have in mind, apart from Tommy, obviously, is 𝐏𝐃𝐄𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒, because he was so obsessed with the whole pregnancy. He loves his baby bro, right? He could not wait to meet his little brother. So I kept thinking about him, like, you know, the memories they're gonna create, just the first time he's gonna see his baby brother, all these things. So if you already have a child and you're having your second baby, right, and maybe your first child you took the epidural, but with your second child you want to go all natural, no epidural, just picture your baby, you know. I'm gonna give my firstborn a sibling. I can't wait to see them together. I can't wait to see them grow up, the bond they're gonna have. I swear to God, I had all these things in my mind. It's crazy, but I did. So that kind of helped me go through that crazy that crazy active labor. So picture something positive and remember, it's all mental. Again, it's all in your mind. The pain is gonna end soon. As soon as that baby comes out, you are going to just breathe. Like, the way I feel when the baby comes out, I'm just like, finally, this is over. I'm done. I have my baby in my arms. He's okay. He's fine. Even when the placenta is coming out, most women say it's painful for them. I just pushed the whole baby out. That for me is nothing. You know, I feel it coming out, but it's honestly nothing compared to a freaking baby coming out of you, right? So yeah. Also, another tip is when you're pushing, make sure you tuck your chin in your chest. Literally, like, you gotta do like this, you know, and really push through the pain. Really push through the pain. So I am done for today. If I left anything out, if you had no epidural when you were having your baby and there's something that you did that I probably did not do or I did not mention, leave it in the comments below and let me know what it is. I would really want to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you're new, leave me a comment, like the video. Thank you guys so much for the support. We love you guys. Take care. Bye.